I hope everybody's doing good this morning. Let's start out with our affirmations on this Tuesday morning. Don't you say it if you don't believe it. Don't say it if you don't believe it. All right. All together. I am created on purpose for a purpose. And you are created on purpose for a purpose. All right. So I do have some stuff I want to talk about. I did wake up with really nothing on my mind and heart, and I just kind of was praying, God, what you want me to talk about this morning? I kind of do that every time. But as we read that affirmation, as we read the affirmation, I think that's a good foundation in leading us to what we're going to talk about today. And you may have heard it before, you may not have heard it before, but if you really believe that, that's the number one thing. You got to believe it. But number two is you got to desire it. Belief and desire. If you have belief and desire to be who God created you to be, to go out and be your best self, then you can do it. You are one of one. You have no competition. You are unique. All right. And what I want to talk about today is I wore my shirt, wake up. I want you to wake up. I want your eyes to be open going into 2025. And now's the time to start opening those eyes. All right. So if you're a note taker, I want you to write down wake up and write it down. I don't know. Look, where's Robin at? There she is. What is it called when you use the names with each letter and all that good stuff? I'd want you to write wake up down the side of your page. Okay. Because we're going to be fancy and it's going to be a little lesson this morning. Somebody tell me what that means, please, when you use the letter for acronym. Is that
Acronyms.
okay? Okay, good. So we're going to do wake up all the way down. And before you even start this exercise, if you start it, don't start it unless you have the belief and you have the desire. Because what I want to talk about, that's it. I want to talk about how you can be your best in whatever area you're having lack in right now. So this could be personally, this could be financially, this could be professionally. But I really think that you can use this in whatever area of your life that you choose. Cullen said something the other day that made a lot of sense. You got to start where you are. You have to start where you are. You can't pretend, I think he said if you're getting directions from where he is to South Carolina, he's in Alaska. You can't start in Washington. Now, I'm silent because a lot of people want to pretend that we're further along than what we really are. But you have to admit and you have to assess where you are to truly get where you're trying to go. It's like that GPS. You can punch in that destination all day long. But if we don't know the true starting point, it might give us the wrong directions. So that's what I want to give you today. All right. The first is the W. Okay. And I'm going to use when you get a lot of coaching, you start using things that really stuck with you and you start implementing it. So what do you want? What do you want? Whether it's personally, professionally, financially, what is it that you want? So guess what? We're pulling out the old A and B exercise. See, if we start with B, we're free to really just, what is it that we want? Just start naming those things. Is it a better relationship with your spouse? Is it you know a promotion? Is it a bigger career? Is it growing your business? Is it making more money? What is it that you want? You need to write all those things down. I don't like to start out with A because when you see where you are, now it's important, but when you see where you are, you start compromising where you want to be because maybe you don't feel like you can get there. So sometimes, again, we just have to wake up and let's do it a different way. We can't solve new world problems with old world solutions. I learned that from a mentor of mine. So, what is it that you want? What does that be? Name that stuff for 2025. All right. Now, A is literally A. Let's go to A. Let's do an audit on where we are. Let's do an assessment on where we are. This is where it's important to start where you are. You got to be honest with yourself. You have to admit the place that you're at. You have to accept where you're at. You don't have to stay there. Todd said something last week, and I texted him after, and we just had a little bit different variation, but it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. So remember the belief and the desire. You got to have the belief and you got to have the desire. But if we're talking personally, forgive yourself. Sometimes we are the ones that is in our own way of taking our next step in who God created us to be, or being who we want to be, or being whatever, being our best self. Because we're carrying around guilt and shame, or we made a bad decision in the past and we just can't do that. Accept it and move forward. I've heard people, it wasn't until maybe a year ago or a couple of years ago, people say you already have what you need inside of you. You are already fully equipped. And I didn't know I knew what it meant, but I didn't know what it meant exactly. I was thinking with skills and knowledge. Again, I'm thinking the exterior stuff, skill and knowledge, skill and knowledge. How am I already equipped? No, I'm trying to be better. But all of our experiences that we've gone through in our life, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, guess what? That's you being equipped to this very moment where you're at right now. Because our past can help somebody else's future. So yes, indeed, we are fully equipped. But you have to accept that. Let's spin it around and let's go make an impact with your story. All right. So assess where you're at. Now, I want to unpack this just a little bit more because it's very important to have what I call manufactured energy and true confidence that comes from the spirit. And so right here on the A, assess where you are. I've seen some, I think Brock, you actually brought it up one time. Ask yourself, what is it that you want? I want to make $250,000 a year. Well, then go right under that. Why? And just answer just that question. Why? Well, that'll get me out of debt faster. Why do you want to get out of debt faster? And then you answer that question, and then why? And why? Eventually, Coach Burt talks about your because is bigger than your why. When you finally get fed up and say, in my instance, because my dad retired when he was, or had a house paid for at 35 and retired in his late 40s. See, I did all of that introspection and I dug and I dug and I dug and I dug. And when I got to that because, guess what I realized? I had the wrong motor and motivation inside of me. I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't. So that's why A is super, super, super important. I focused on the knowledge. I focused on my skills. But look, if I didn't have the confidence from my spirit that was feeding my heart's desire, then I could thirst for that knowledge to be the best person. That's where the alignment came up. But see, I was missing that. I was just floundering around, hoping to get to the next level of our life, my family's life. So A, you really need to spend some time on that. Spend a lot of time on that and be real with yourself. Start where you are. All right. K is knowledge. If you have the belief and you have the desire, hopefully when you assess yourself and you realize that, hey, I'm about to move on, I'm serious about this, I'm starting to wake up here, go get the knowledge. Personally, there's several people on here, and Derek Green, I'm sure is man, he can really get inside and introspection and find those things from a personal standpoint. Professionally, you got Brock, you got other business coaches on here that can help you take those next steps to get to your B. Financially, I can help you with that. Christian can help you with that. The knowledge, ECAD. So financially, ECAD. ECAD. Are you earning enough money to get to your B? Are you contributing towards your future? Is it accumulating? And will it distribute the way you want it to? Enough income. That's my little deal. ECAD. That's the blueprint, right? That's the blueprint. I can help you with that. If it's personally, I really challenge you to look at all 4 parts of your nature. That was the biggest wake-up call that I had. Again, I was focused on knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill, and I was empty inside. Think about that, guys. Fortune 500 companies, some of the executives were asked, what are, there's 3 main components of competency in a good leader, and that is attitude, skill, and knowledge. Ask. Look at there. I'm doing a lot of acronyms today, right? And when asked that question, it was like, I don't know, 20% skill, 20% knowledge, but the majority of it was attitude. What kind of training is out there? All the focus is on knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill. So attitude comes from down deep. And that's where you got to get real personable with God. In my case, with God, I said, you know what? I'm depending on you. I've said it my entire life, but guess what? Now I'm doing it. That's 2 different things. Me saying it and me doing it was 2 different things. And when I did that, I promise you, he grabbed my hand and he started taking me where he wanted to lead me. Never thought I'd be running my mouth on Tuesday mornings, but I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So knowledge. And I'm sure that Brock can come up with a ECAD or BrockCAD or turning scripts into, turning scripts into conversations. He can show you how to do all that, right? If it's professionally. But be real. Take some time to do that. All right. Execute. Faith without works is dead. Let's go. Let's take some steps. Execute. Start executing. One step at a time. One area at a time. Don't look at the entire staircase. We're still human. We can get overwhelmed. If you're like me, my mind will get, oh man, I'll see something on that third floor and now I'm way over here. And I ain't even took the first step yet. Execute. Now, do you understand why I said you have to have the belief and the desire? You can have the belief, but if you ain't got the desire to take action, what? What is that? You're still on the sideline hoping something shakes out in your favor instead of being willing to get in the game. You've heard me say that before. When you don't get in the game, when you don't get in the race, you're robbing the world of that gift that God meant for you to give others. All right. Faith without works is dead. Do it. Get in there. Have an action plan. We always upgrading this phone, right? We always make sure we got the latest and greatest phone, software, our cars. How many of you are driving your first car? Put a 5 in the chat if you're let's do this because I want to see some activity. Put a 5 in the chat if you're not still driving your first car. See, I'm learning to be better at these questions, right? That way I'm not just, well, that was the wrong question. Right? Yeah. Not too many people are still driving their very first car. We upgraded. We have to be willing to always upgrade. And that's where I talk about everybody has a next step to become better. Always. Always. And the people that think they're perfect, even the best can become better. You'd be surprised, guys. John and I have talked to some groups, some big groups. I'm talking about some heavy hitters. And we're going to show them where they're grossly overpaying and group benefits. Nah, we good. We good. What? We're talking, John, hundreds of millions of dollars. One group could have hundreds of millions. Nah, we good. We good. Always be willing to upgrade. We always have a next step. Michael Jordan was the GOAT. He still is the GOAT. But you know what? He had a next step to become better. Tiger Woods, all of these great athletes, Tom Brady, all of them can still be better. None of them are perfect. Always be willing to upgrade. And when I talk about that, I'm specifically talking about that in your 4 parts of your nature, because I want you to be mindful of those things. And I use this illustration a lot, like a fast car, Corvette, Lamborghini, whatever. Think about it as the 4 tires. If you have a flat tire, it'll still go, but it won't go as fast. If you completely ignore it, it'll still go, but you'll start tearing things up. I think my whole divine revelation, my divine disruption was based on me learning about my 4 parts of my nature and how I was totally focused on, just having a certain success, being at a certain level, and it was all for the benefit of my family, guys. It was all so it kept me blinded. I mean, that's okay to be, right? But I had that internal void in truly living out who I was supposed to be. And every day, it's a daily deal. You never arrive. It's not a destination, it's a direction of daily steps. It's the journey. And man, you enjoy the journey a lot more when you're in line with who God's leading you to be, created you to be, and just going in that direction. The last one is P. I truly believe that if you are very serious about all of those things, the steps before, and you truly always want to upgrade, and you truly look at what is my next step in my spiritual life? What is my next step in knowledge? What is my next step in confidence? All of this, all of this. If you truly do all of that, I really think that you will have a lot more purpose. You'll realize some potential that you never had, that you realized you had or knew you had. You'll become more present. You'll be more profitable, both internally and externally. And ultimately, I believe you'll have more peace in your life. So, whatever your B is, I think that that P could describe your B. So, ultimately, if I didn't say anything before, I believe all of us want peace in our life. Problem is, we want to jump straight to peace and ignore all these other things that are necessary. And so I would challenge you, as sincere as I can be, if you're serious and you have the belief and the desire, start taking some of these steps now going into 2025 so you can go into 2025 wide open, foot on the gas. So really, that's all I got. I hope that you guys got something out of that. I hope that was a nudge to wake you up a little bit, maybe. Um, but again, it to wrap it all up, our affirmation that we started with, I am created on purpose for a purpose, and you were created on purpose for a purpose. That's what it's all about. We can't just sit on the sideline and hope it finds us. We have to take action. All right, that's all I got. Anybody got anything for me? Anybody? Of course, I want you to go to Amazon and buy my book, okay? Mindset and Money Revolution. We get deep into this, all right? We get deep into it. Go there, buy it, write a review for it, please, right? Zena. Oh, Zena. Hey, Zena. What's up,
Hey.
Zena? Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at
Yes.
there.
Hey, Chad.
We need to go. We need to meet up with you so you can sign it, though.
Okay. Well, hey, it's not that far of a drive now, right?
No, not at all.
That's our number one V. You know, is
Yeah.
getting you to sign that.
Hey, I
Awesome,
just wanted to
awesome.
say thank you for that. It was great. And what really hit me when you were talking about upgrading, that I think so many times I know I sit and settle, and I think I don't need to upgrade. Like everything's working, I'm comfortable. I'm just gonna sit right here. But I really love that, you're encouraging us to get out of that and go ahead and upgrade, because the upgrade is better. That next version, that next level, is the next level of you, the newer and better version of you. And with that, we can accomplish more, and it's that leveling up steps.
That's
So
right.
thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. I like that. Sitting and settling. That's what we do. We're human. We're human. When it's on cruise control, hey, we like to ride in that lane. For sure. Michelle.
Hey, one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past, and you brought up today, was accountability. And in one of the conversations that you had, and where I am financially and where I want to be, you recommended that I read a book named Home Equity and Reverse Mortgages and the Cinderella of the Baby Boomer Retirement. This book, I
Yep.
read it, and I contacted the author. We have a meeting later today, again, per your recommendation. And sometimes, we can't really do it right when it's recommended, but part of the path that I have going to my B is to figure out how best to set things up for my family for later on. And,
Yep.
they're really great things. So thank you.
That's right. And you know what? I want to add this. I'm not saying that you're not, but I got to add, when she read that title, Reverse Mortgages, maybe not all of you, but some of you, whether here or Facebook, possibly already said, oh man, golly, that's terrible. You know what? I thought that too. But you can't assume. That's the thing. You can't assume. There is a lot of benefits in what she just read. And I'm bringing that up because that's my whole practice. See, I don't do that. But my practice with the financial stuff, everybody assumes that we should be on the hamster wheel chasing rates of returns and putting as much money on management. You know what I mean? But that's not right. I mean, it's okay, but you need to know all your options. And see, there was options, Michelle, with that you probably didn't realize that you had and that offered. Right? So never, ever, 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 ever assume. That's just taking that next step. Let me find out for myself. Okay. Thank you for saying that, Michelle. Anybody else?
I'll say the one thing at the end that struck me, Chad, was when we want to get to when the wake up acronym, you want us to we all want just the peace. Like, I just wish I remember my dad always said, I just wish we could have some peace around here. Like, we got 5 kids. It's like chaos. He's like, we just need some peace. And we want to get to the end without the other acronyms, the other ingredients, the other examples. And so I wrote down this, which reminded me of Jim Rohn when he says, don't ask for things to be easier, ask to become stronger. And those are just so very important things that you shared with us. Like, we're going to have the peace if we work on the other ingredients, but without the other ingredients, we're just going to create chaos in our life and we'll never get to the peace. And then many of us say, like, I just feel like I'm in this hamster wheel of life going over and over, the Groundhog's Day. And life is going to happen. You stated it. It's going to happen regardless whether we like it or not, the good, the bad, or indifferent. And if we don't work on ourselves to make ourselves stronger, we're always going to be on the other end of the spectrum, and we're always going to be hoping, praying, and trying and grabbing and just never feel like we're getting there because we're just we're not following the ingredients, your steps that you had here. I would encourage or ask you if you can to take these and put it in the Facebook page. So that way people who are driving or watch the recording, they could get these acronyms on here so they can copy paste it. And I encourage y'all, copy paste it and put it and print it out and put it in front of you and ask yourself, am I working on these each and every day? So thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. So I'll just leave you with this. I try to be bold, try to just, I can't believe one part of the Bible and not believe the other. But if you look up Proverbs 19:21, it's so easy, but yet it's the hardest thing in the world. Man has many plans, and that's what we focus on. But God's purpose will prevail all day long. And that's what this is about. Get in line with what He wants to do in your life, and He will put His super on your natural. And that's when you start experiencing the abundance right here.